Design was core to me as a means of very honest expression. Primarily, I don't think so. Architecture in our country is developed around the fact of what we are teaching is going to happen. Architecture largely teaches you to really work really, really hard. Delivery matters. It's a very short-lived reputation in the market. I think thinking of this trade more from an entrepreneurial angle rather than thinking it from an architectural angle makes you a better architect. I think if you make the right thing, everything else will follow. Money follows, references follow, rise follows. These kind of podcasts follow.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Duro Beyond Blueprints. Today on the episode we have architect Harkaran Singh Boparai. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's a great pleasure having you here.
Pleasure's mine.
And so let's get right into it. You started your career out of Amritsar, and then now you recently shifted into this lovely office in New Delhi. You're also setting up in Dubai. But before we get into the career side of things, what got you into architecture in the first place?
Well, so my family has been into the trade of real estate ever since, and mom, dad have been into this, and that was something that we were born and brought up around the idea of plans and everything. But my pitch was not to sell plots, so me and my sister we started together in Amritsar, and that was I'm talking about almost December 2017. I was still studying by the time. I was still in graduation school.
Right.
And I did that, and that was my propel because we had seen that kind of a system, that kind of a way of working, and design was core to me as a means of not just for the sake of the podcast, but as a means of very honest expression. And I think design does help you do that.
Very interesting. How was your experience in college though?
In what way are you asking me?
Just generally, from students who are working in, who might be thinking of getting into architecture. What was your experience getting through college, learning, and then from the theory perspective to what reality is? Was there a gap that you find in that?
With all due respect to all my professors and everybody, I think my college life, in generally, the college life wala thing was not as as crazy as it can go, especially the architectural schools. It was more studious and more on the point. Of course, I did have my fair share of the highs and lows as it does become to you. Getting to your question of how much what is taught in theory and what happens actually is out there. Primarily, I don't think so. Architecture in our country is developed around the fact of what we are teaching is going to happen. Architecture largely teaches you to really work really, really hard. One of the hardest, I think so, I don't know, the hardest curriculums is architecture primarily. And that if somebody does imbibe that in college, that does help you be very, very experimental as you get into the actual work life.
Right.
And keeps you abreast. And that's what college taught me.
तो पहले प्रोजेक्ट में क्या क्या गलतियां की आपने?
बहुत थी, कुछ भी नहीं पता.
But you successfully completed the project.
I don't think so. There maybe ikka dukka chhod ke. We at HBS is known for, we were known as Space 5, now we're known as HBS. We are known for very high pristine delivery. Delivery has been very core to us. Yeah. Even at the cost of doing it overtime, going above and beyond, we have delivered, and delivery matters. That I learned very early on. It's a very short-lived reputation in the market. You gotta pinpoint and deliver.
In a service industry, no?
करना है आपको, करना पड़ेगा. Yeah.
And especially if you're in the residential side, right? It's someone's home that is eventually getting.
I think
built,
हर जगह ही है ना. I think so. Unless you're not delivering out there, people don't see your product out there. I think if you make the right thing, everything else will follow. Money follows, references follow, rise follows. These kind of podcasts follow.
Very true. Why residential though? I know
Easy kick.
Easy kick थोड़ा समझाइए.
Earlier, of course, when you're starting out, you're not having that kind of infra to manage large-scale commercial works. You can't do it. And residential seemed an easy bait in the earlier fresco of the work that we started with. Then we have slowly moved. First is that, yes, that was also one of the ideas. I think you might connect with that back in 2018-19. Usse pehle, it was a lot of modern architecture that was being printed out across the country. 2019-ish, pre-COVID, a lot of vibe for classical architecture came through. and that we really connected with. Me and my partner as well, we both very connected with that kind of a thing. So we have kind of specialized in that, those Tuscan estates, Spanish estates. So we have kind of specialized in those. And to have a hobby kind of a design, yes, we do a lot of heritage works. So I do connect with sacred entities. So I do get a chance to develop these historic redevelopment works in and around the Gurudwaras. So that I'm very humbled with, honestly.
When you set up here, getting a team in here, getting a team of workmen in here, was that challenging for you? What were like, if someone is thinking of, coming in and moving into a bigger city, what are the top two, three things that they should keep in mind from your experience?
From my experience, I think firstly, if you are thinking of a multi-branch setup for your studio and
Yes.
very your early age of your being in the architecture trade, I don't know a lot of studios who are under 10 years of practice and they have like 3 branch setup. I don't know, there are many.
If someone would want to do that, what would be your advice
Yeah,
to
I
them?
think first 2 things have to happen. Honestly, you need to have a good cohort of clientele with you to be able to afford and to be able to progress without any full stops. Then it is the right kind of teams you must have made on a home base.
Mm.
That's very, very important. When I came to Delhi, I came with 4 of my best that I had made in Amritsar and in Punjab. I made sure that we relocated, all 4 of us, at the risk of losing clientele in Amritsar. I did that, and that did eventually also happen. Some things went south. That's another story. But when you are shifting to a better, bigger, and more challenging space, you need to have a team. The team that really sticks with you. Very, very important.
Very interesting.
You know, I I don't know who architect is successful. Just अकेले क्या ही कर लेंगे ना? Like what can you do just by
I think it's beyond architects. I think in any profession, if you
any
don't have a good
profession?
team, it's
Yeah.
not going to work
See,
out.
if you're not invested by external fund investors, you want a multi-brand setup. That means you're technically going to be 2xing or even 2.5xing your spend. So you need to be able to afford that for the next at least 8, 9, 12 months until you have a home base ready in the new place. So you need the right team first with you and a clientele that can support that.
You're not looking to expand into Dubai.
We're almost near to doing that.
Almost there,
Almost near,
right?
yes.
How's that experience as compared to shifting to setting up in Delhi? I don't say shifting to Delhi, but setting up in Delhi.
Yeah, so Delhi will of course build the home base. It will
Right.
remain because it gives me access to both the spaces where I'm going to be working at. Dubai has been easier because we do have clientele in Dubai. One, two. I think that exposes us to much more large international markets.
From the process of setting up in Dubai, is it easy?
Very easy.
Oh, can you just tell me what the process would be?
Very super easy. You just need to set up your own. The company formation has to happen under that. Of course, then the visa systems are there, 2 or 3 different types of there. You can get that golden wala thing if you make some investment over there. You also have it. You have to get the visa for 2 or 3 of your the core employees which you want to shift. Then the hiring. So there are a couple of 2 or 3 different modules under which you can get a space over there,
Okay.
and it means very, very easy because the overall economics is very easy.
Okay.
But just shifting Dubai for it's flavorsome, you should not do that. Like no architect should do that. कि वो flavor है. It's to be done. No, a right cause, a right calculation has to happen. Why you want to do that?
Can you get a little bit into the calculation जो आपने अपने लिए किया होगा, if you're comfortable sharing that?
Our projection is right. Our projection was very right.
Okay.
We have clientele. We have made a kind of a brand which I think can have the momentum as we go forward. And we are very niche. When you are niche, I think you can break through much faster. If you're not a niche service, now we met pre-podcast also. So you have seen, like, of course, I go by the name of Harkaran Boparai, but we are treating that as a brand name, not me.
Right.
So there is something called HBS. There's something more coming down, the similar brand language. So that momentum is being developed by people that I have been able to resurrect with myself.
Right.
And that momentum is a protection shield, and we're able to go much, much faster. I think that was an early on decision. God was kind, we did that.
I find it very interesting in your journey that in 8 years, you set up, well, there's Amritsar, then Delhi, and within 2 years of coming to Delhi, you're now setting up in Dubai. But you're still working with Ultra HNIs,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of the Ultra HNI projects are driven from, I'm assuming, please correct me if I'm wrong, from a materialistic, uh, mm, from a very materialistic angle. Do you struggle working with that since you are very grounded and very spiritual?
Both ways it happens. There are people I work for who are very bling.
Hmm.
That's their attraction. That's my work. I do it. I have found some couple of people, top notch, top of the line, top of the game, very grounded.
Yeah.
Somebody asked us to make a, don't ask me where, somebody
Sure.
asked us to make a eco kind of a, early project started as an eco resort,
Hmm.
8 एकड़ eco resort. वो किसी और मनस्थिति का बंदा था. He loved his land way too much for me to put concrete in it.
Hmm.
Now we are making this bhora over there. You understand what is a bhora?
नहीं समझाइए
So bhora
please.
is basement.
Okay.
In his language, in UP में है project.
Hmm.
So we are making that, like मतलब a lot of money he has.
Right.
So he's asking us to do everything under the basements. ऊपर कुछ नहीं करना है. ऊपर greens बनाओ. Make river ells, make contours, make plants. घर नीचे ले जाओ मेरा. ऊपर slide नहीं कराओ. Very unique thing. We're not even revealing it on Instas right now.
I don't want to get into the details
Yeah.
of the project, but when a challenge comes like this,
Yeah.
how do you deal with it?
Lovely. Client should be well paying.
No, of course, the client is well
Client
paying. You
fees
found
मुझे-
you found this spiritually that client has
Client
come to
मुझे
you.
फीस ठोक के दे रहा है.
हाँ.
You know, like पूरी फीस दे रहा है मेरी.
हाँ.
I love कुछ करना है अलग.
What's the process of research? Because you would have to do a lot of research.
No, somebody pushes me this question कि नहीं यार हरकरन जी ज़मीन को प्रोटेक्ट कैसे करें. तो we'll come up with weird ideas. Massing करेंगे. So generally in our office we do a lot of massing studies. So massing studies is very early on. There is a phase in my studio which is called pre-design.
Okay.
Normally, I think a lot of good architects have that. So there is something called pre-design consultation before you jump towards the main consultations. So in pre-design, we do these massing studies.
Can you,
You know.
elaborate what is
So massing is all about, assuming the square footage of the building in an open grassland, and where can you tentatively place that before you do the plannings.
Okay.
Like assume कि आपने 20 स्क्वायर फुट बनाना है, जमीन आपके पास 2 लाख स्क्वायर फुट की है, तो डब्बा इमेजिन करो, and how do you place it? Tilt it, make it, break it, spread it. Imagine that डब्बा cut it, spread करके देखो कैसे लग रहा है, ऐसे कैसे लग रहा है, उसमें फिर सनलाइट का अट्रैक्शन क्या है. And that's a very basic thing.
Right.
Taught to me by mentor in university, Behel sir. I often talk about him. So he told us that कि assume कि वो मिट्टी है और मिट्टी का गोला है, कितना है देखो और उसको काट के लगाओ हर जगह पे, ऊपर नीचे करके देखो, तो you'll achieve good architecture. I think thinking of this trade more from an entrepreneurial angle rather than thinking it from an architectural angle. That makes you a better architect.
You have been doing architecture and interiors, and now there is a line that you're developing which is outside this into lifestyle. Would you like to express a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that is being developed. That's been a part and parcel of the thought process in very early on as well. The entire team, it's not being developed by me, but the entire team that is working with us. We wanted to make an ecosystem of design creatives. There's this one enabler, a brand. Architecture is something else. That is something else. That is something else. That is something else. An enabler of creative design. Like somebody's going in this line. Okay, there is, and we think like that. In our offices, think like that. Okay, ये कर सकते हैं.
Organizationally, how are you structured?
So organizationally, we have technically like 2 companies which are both under one group, which is called Amrik. I have not revealed that ever. Amrik is my Dadaji's name.
Okay.
And both of them are being designed in a fashion to be able to get maybe funded and maybe eventually to be get listed in years down the line.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but how are you, from an operational
Structured.
perspective, how are you structuring
So
yourself?
directors are there in the company,
Right.
Along with me. Other directors are largely the founding family जिन्होंने पैसा लगाया है.
Right.
Even in this architecture trade also, as we grew, we did have to get some funds into the trade to be able to expand, but not a lot of it. Most of it is from the nearby relatives and known people. Then there are, for my architectural studio, I'll reveal. So there is a partner board that we have. So there is me, I'm one of the partners. Then there are the senior project managers and project managers. We have like five here, six here in Delhi now. We have three in Amritsar. They do take a certain monetary benefit out of the projects that we execute, allows me to be free, allows me to make sure the projects are delivered on time, clients are kept happy. That's the partner board. Every partner has his own team. We strive very hard to stay with the least amount of people as possible.
Keeping it very lean.
Very lean, that makes everybody very responsible. And I learned that a very, very hard way. Addition of team members should happen at the pretext of sheer requirement. Take, for example, I'm talking about design firms. Take, for example, there's this Kelly Wessler. Yes. She's one of the global icons of interior design. Small team. She's serving every Hollywood celebrity out there. She's into lifestyle, she's into furniture, she's into architecture. Lean team, lean growth idea. Helps to curtail your design language.
Yeah.
You know. So that's one of our
Maintains
really hard
culture.
pushes. It retains culture.
Yeah.
And I'm very easy with my project managers. The one that you met also. Very chill with them. Almost my age. 1-2-3 साल का फर्क है. High on energy. They understand me. I understand them. So that kind of a culture I want to retain as we age into this line. Other trades might need more team members to be added. That does happen. Being agile.
But I really liked how clean you are, how clear you are in the way you set up the team, in the structure that you explain. Where did this learning come from? Because this is not how most architecture practices in India are.
They're owner-based firms. Owners control the game, and they're like, I see. You want to attract really good people towards you two ways. You pay them a bomb.
But that doesn't. Paying a bomb is not equal to getting results.
They will not put their head, brain, heart on something that belongs to you. A lot of it they won't. But even if not all of the project managers have this facility in my office, but a lot of them have the idea that this is where this company is going. They know it very clearly. That this guy is taking this firm to that pedestal. Just that projection also serves. You know, a lot of my very dear core people work just on the pay scales. But they do have the idea, because we do discuss the mission, the vision, the plausibility of what we are doing a lot more aggressively. Right. I don't know whether you caught that or not. So when you glide past, you went into the conference room. So you saw two studios. I don't know whether you saw them. So one team is working on something else, another is working on something else. The other room, there was somebody working on something else. There was a tech guy sitting, there was a design team sitting, there was another fellow, and everybody is a lot of coagulation of experiences. And that really is the energy of my office. And where touchwood, that God has been kind in that way. There have been times I've had very shitty people. My God. Tough cracks.
Is there a process now that you have in place?
Look.
No?
How can you judge somebody? But yes, at least be very, very open and bullish in your studio to protect your studio, your culture as strongly as possible. You can't make a culture just by putting money on the table.
Oh no. That's the wrong culture.
Yes. Culture of an office, of a studio, is developed by its people. How relieved are they feeling on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock?
Are they looking forward to come to work?
That is your culture.
Are they looking forward to come to work?
9 बजे जब बॉस का खुद का दिल नहीं कर रहा ऑफिस जाने का, तब एम्प्लॉय कैसा है? That is your culture. Somebody asked me, culture ये होता है A, B, C, T, ये होता है, कुछ नहीं होता. 9 बजे एम्प्लॉय डेस्क पे पहुंचने पे क्या फील कर रहा है? क्या गैस्ट्रो एंजाइटी है उस बंदे को कि नहीं यार आज मैंने ये करना है, वो ऐसी कोई फीलिंग आ रही है? So that companies excel. Macintosh was built by a team of 9 people. Right? They probably built the best product of industrial age. One guy, there was one jobs, 9 बंदे क्रेजी रखे हैं नीचे जो दुनिया बदल रहे हैं. क्या बात. No?
Do you see a scope of, architecture in India is very fragmented.
Yeah.
आपने offline mention किया था, and I'll mention it right now. You said that architectural space is architect as a profession is dying. Do you want to elaborate on that, and then we'll get deeper into it?
It's technically, yes, it's a dying profession. I tell that very volubly to everybody. It's a dying profession. Go down the metrics of architecture. And somebody who challenges that doesn't even know that. We practice in the trade, we know that. The annual growth rate in architecture trade is bare minimum compared with all the trades. And the impact of architecture is very large. You are making built environment for humans to live. And that is one thing. Another, you are very, very fragmented. There is no coagulation of architecture ever. Har saal, you know how many people are graduating from universities all across?
15, 20,000?
25 plus.
25,000.
And that is an old metric I have. जो
अब
पास
ज़्यादा ही
आउट कर
होगा.
रहे हैं. बड़े ऐसे हैं जो प्रैक्टिस करते हैं जिनके पास डिग्री नहीं है, पर वो अपने दुकान के बल लगा के लिखा है आर्किटेक्चर नक्शे बनाने का काम. नाउ देयर इज नो, अभी द कोर, द क्रीम is controlled by very few.
Yeah.
The star architects, the so called. अब नीचे क्या हो रहा है? तो अब नीचे जब कुछ होगा नहीं, उतना फंड इस ट्रेड में भी निकला नहीं है, कोई इन्वेस्टर फंडिंग नहीं है, कोई टेक्निकल एडवांसमेंट नहीं की गई. आईटी में देखो कितना आईटी हम बाहर सप्लाई कर रहे हैं. इट्स ऑल सेक्टर एग्नोस्टिक. वी आर नॉट सेक्टर एग्नोस्टिक, एंड दैट्स द ट्रेजेडी ऑफ दिस ट्रेड.
You think there's a scope of a culture change coming or a process change coming where eventually a funding, a listing?
It has to happen. Otherwise, this trade will go off and be supplanted towards engineering companies. It's going to happen like that. If fundings don't happen, if listings don't happen, if sector agnostic work don't happen, and if cross-border remission of architecture doesn't happen, eventually in the age of AI, this trade is bound to perish with the lackluster work of architects being done and executed by engineering companies, large-scale engineering companies. It's not hard for them to have. They have that today also, to have architecture studios within their entire group systems, and they can make 7-8 branches and get things executed. And very few of them will remain. So we need to be very, very protective, especially the younger generation of the community who supplies the products like you, and the ones who are the providers, both enablers. All of them need to understand कि नहीं यार, that thing is missing. That has to be done. Apart from doing events, ये कर रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, what are we doing for the sector? I would love to see somebody doing architecture in some fashion, going on Shark Tank and getting a funding. I love to see that. I would love to see Hinduja family funding an architecture studio. I love to see that. That is what I'm looking forward to.
Do you think this space is ripe for consolidation?
It can eventually happen. That's what happened with almost all professions in the country. It will.
Law के साथ तो यही हुआ था.
Law के साथ हो चुका है. आपकी it has happened with surgeries. It has happened with doctors. You go abroad, you see that happening for even for architecture studios.
What do you think is preventing this in India for happening? I know architectural spaces abroad have seen consolidation coming together, whether through collaboration, partnerships, whatever.
A lot of.
Why is it not happening in India, in your opinion?
Maybe because India is on a macroeconomic scale, it's a K economy. Because it's a K economy, a lot of architects are not paid as well as they should be. There is no set hourly rates, and there is least enforcement of architectural bylaws in the country. कोई भी कुछ भी कर सकता है, होता है. Everybody knows that. Because of that, that is what is preventing, to a certain degree, the coagulation. Because this trade is reliant on the economy. तो K economy है. The ones who are high investors, they go to the prestige firms.
Right.
बहुत सेक्टर नीचे वाला भी है जो ज़्यादा इन्वेस्ट नहीं कर रहा है, नहीं ना ही क्षमता भी नहीं उनके बीच में. कोएगुलेशन होने का फिर ये 2-3 आई थिंक कम्युनिटी में भी इतना नहीं है ना. कम्युनिटी डजंट टॉक लाइक दैट. अभी जो मैंने आपको ये
Most architects don't see themselves as entrepreneurs.
they're not discussing that.
Yeah.
पेपर पकड़ के ड्राइंग करना
So प्रॉफिट लॉस स्टेटमेंट ही नहीं देखते ऑन.
या और ये भी नहीं है यार, पेपर पढ़ के ड्रॉ कर देना,
हाँ.
ठीक है यार, समझ गए ना कि है, कला है. बट आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ इट द आइडियाज ऑफ कैपिटलिज्म हैज टू बी, आई थिंक कैपिटलिज्म शुड बी अ पार्ट ऑफ एवरी ट्रेड, होना चाहिए. योर माइंडसेट शुड बी कैपिटलिस्ट. तभी आप एनेबल करोगे इकोनॉमी को, आप एनेबल ही नहीं कर सकते हो. दैट लैक विल सर्ज, इट विल सर्ज लाइक एनीथिंग. I think that's where it should be.
You mentioned earlier that you're doing some work for the Sikh community. What are you doing, and can you elaborate a little bit on that, please?
So I identify with that in Sikh religion, and my work, gracefully, with God's grace, has allowed me to work on a lot of heritage Sikh Gurudwaras. My favorite project has been the redevelopment of Gurudwara Goindwal Sahib. That was where Guru Amar Das ji basically established Sikhi
Okay.
and propelled it. ही 22 मंजियाँ उन्होंने बनाई थी, संस्थापक बना दिए पुरातन सिख गुरुद्वारा, और उसकी रीडेवलपमेंट की थी ऑफ द लंगर हॉल्स. अराउंड 1.5 लाख स्क्वायर फुट के लंगर हॉल्स की डेवलपमेंट थी. आई वॉज लकी दैट वी वर वर्किंग विद एन NGO out of Amritsar who allowed us to experiment a lot, bring in a lot of new age technology into the langar halls.
What are these technologies?
Normally you go to any langar hall in a say gurudwara, simple, and that's, I love that. First of all, I love that, simple, easy, nothing else. अब बैठ रहे हैं यहाँ, वहाँ पे it's a huge massive langar hall, huge sangat coming every day. How do you temperature control it? How do you pest control it? Like flies भी नहीं आने चाहिए. So enablement of temperature controlling happened over there. पहली बार probably हुआ है. I even inquired that कि इंडिया में अभी हेरिटेज गुरुद्वारा में नहीं हुआ है.
तो आपने कैसे?
The NGO was very open minded कि वो they are कार सेवा पूरी वाले, संतपुरी वाले.
Okay.
One of the largest in, they work in heritage Sikh gurudwaras, and they used to work with other architects, but they worked this time with us, allowed us a very very free hand. We did the castings of that 1.5 lakh square foot in an under span of 3 months because the Shatabdi was coming, the 100-year century year was coming. We did that by September, and we infused whatever good we could into fly controlling के लिए air curtain installments हर जगह हो रही हैं, while we're also using Nanak Shahi brick work on the external facades. We are using HVAC climate controls also. अभी लंगर भी 2 तरह के हैं. एक चाय का लंगर अलग होता है जिसपे we are only serving tea. There is another we are serving food. Temperature control is totally different. That all those really helped us. अभी how the cooking happens. It Indian बड़े बर्तन आज you are cooking that. तो if you are making दाल, आप lentils बना रहे हो, आप चपाती बना रहे हो.
Right.
You are not cooking that in mechanized systems. You're cooking that in big cauldrons में दाल बन रही है, cauldrons में चपाती बन रही है. How do you fume control that? So all those things brought us in the eye of the all the community who were doing that, and a lot of people know that we did that. It's a well known fact कि मतलब a lot of people identify us for that. That gave us a chance to work. Now we are doing it in 4 historic gurudwaras right now. One is the Shri Darbar Sahib in Amritsar. That's a 1,000 feet long historic lane that is being developed that connects one Gurudwara with the main Gurudwara. Another is in Bihar, in Patna, where the 10th Guru was born. So we're developing the Tosh Khana over there. Tosh Khana is like where he was born, ekdam uske niche, there's a basement. So we're able to, that's the Tosh Khana. We're developing that. And one we're doing in Haryana. So those things are really...
These are completely different from your core of residential.
Severely different.
तो
severely.
चैलेंज क्या है माइंडसेट की तरफ से आपका इसमें?
जो क्लाइंट मेरे प्राइवेट हैं, they need to have a very good cappuccino when they come and serve them. You need to be a little bit tingy and tangy with them, and that
Right.
way. With them, I generally connect very easily. I connect very very easily. I've had all of them come to me, and that's very very blissful. First of all, anything I think we will be doing some even a mosque development is almost around the corner for us. There is a project coming along. So those things are really that really vibes with me.
You handle these the C community projects yourself personally, or
No,
is it someone
process
from the
remains the same.
process remains
The
the same?
partner board, one partner signed. I am in the designing phase early on.
So, what is your role in your organization right now?
Enablement and the adherence of these policies.
So
People try to shun from these. यहाँ से निकलने की कोशिश होती है. ये पॉलिसी से निकलो, यहाँ से निकलो, यहाँ से निकलो. मेरे पास ऑलमोस्ट 50 प्लस ऑलमोस्ट 60 समथिंग की टीम है. ऑल 3 ऑफिसेस, 2 ऑफिसेस फिलहाल के लिए. तो वो निकलने की ऐसे राइट, इसको नहीं करना, ये छोड़ो ना, ये करते हैं डायरेक्ट.
if I may say, then your role is to keep everyone aligned.
Everyone very very aligned.
Yeah.
If there are EAs are aligned. They know what their job is. If there is an HR is aligned.
Do you not miss being in the forefront, designing, client handling?
So I am doing designs and my clients know it. I am doing designs in the early phase of the project largely. So I am an input giver in a project because people are hiring HBS for Harkaran. They know that हाँ ठीक है कि इस बंदे का टैलेंट मुझे समझ आया, जिसके जब हम AI की बात कर रहे थे, यार इसका मुझे टैलेंट समझ आता है, इससे मैंने काम करवाना है. बट अकेला टैलेंट की बात नहीं है. दे अंडरस्टैंड द प्रोसेस दैट आई हैव इन माई स्टूडियो. दे अंडरस्टैंड दैट ऑल्सो. सो both things run wild together.
And the same process you're deploying for the work
For
you're doing
the
in the C
heritage.
community
Yes,
on the heritage
absolutely.
projects?
Now whenever we do a project like जैसे पटना साहब है या हरमंदर साहब का वर्क है,
But the client is different, the requirement is
it
different, the
does,
expectation is
and
very
that's
different.
how it happens for all good large scale firms. You go to Norman and Foster. It's a global 500 company. They're into architecture. They made the Apple Park. Do you think Norman Foster was the guy who did all the draftings and went till the core कि जब तक ये बनता नहीं मैंने वहीं बैठना है?
No.
He did the design part कि ऐसा बनना है. बनाने की क्षमता उसकी टीम में बहुत है. हाँ, बात करेंगे क्लाइंट के साथ, बना के भी देंगे, समझा के भी देंगे. वही तो समझने की जरूरत है आर्किटेक्ट्स को. यही कमी है. Clients want your design, but they are not asking you to be the executor. They want your thought and they want the process. जब मैंने ये समझा तब हमारी ग्रोथ हुई है कि दैट्स व्हाट क्लाइंट्स वांट. क्लाइंट्स डोंट वांट कि दिन में 10 मीटिंग है, 10 के 10 में हरकन बैठना चाहिए. दे डोंट वांट दैट.
They want solutions.
एग्जाम्पल है आपको देता हूँ. देयर इज अ डॉक्टर क्लाइंट, इवन ही लिसन टू दिस पॉडकास्ट. ही इज अ सर्जन, ही इज अ हार्ट सर्जन, फैंटास्टिक गाय. आई सी हिम एज माई फैमिली. बठिंडा में इनका प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है. हार्डली मैं कितना ही उनके पेस की डिटेल्स में इन्वॉल्व हूँ. वो मुझसे ज़्यादा मेरे PM के साथ ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल है. मुझे उन्होंने पूछना है फॉर द बिगर थिंग, हरकरन ये कैसा लग रहा है. मैंने सर वाइब्स राइट, गो हेड. Similarly, there are high court judges or lawyers that I'm working for. Again, big shot guys. Similar process follows for them also. I don't break down my system and haven't. अभी तक तो नहीं तोड़ा है. कहीं भी जरूरत पड़ जाए तो अलग बात है.
From an HBS perspective, if I were to ask you, what are the current challenges that you're facing in your scale-up journey?
Scale up journey में search for the right people जैसे अभी तक हैं. I want to bring the right people who connect with me. ये सबसे बड़ा मेरा चैनल है, क्योंकि अगर सही बंदे बैठे हैं तो मेरी ग्रोथ हो जानी है. मैं रिवर्स चलता हूँ. बंदे सही हैं मेरे पास, ग्रोथ कराने वाले बंदे बैठे हैं, करा देंगे. दैट इज वन चैलेंज. अनदर इज एलोकेशन ऑफ टाइम. जब आप इतना काम
It's
पकड़ोगे,
the most precious resource that we
और
have.
इतना काम आप करोगे, समथिंग विल गो साउथ. तो द डिलीवरेंस ऑफ द टाइम इज ऑल्सो, किन के पास मेरा समय जाना चाहिए, इम्पॉर्टेंट है. यू नो, दोज थिंग्स आर द चैलेंजेस. आई थिंक वो भी धीरे धीरे एज यू लर्न समझ आ जाती हैं चीज़ें.
What I'm hearing from you and from the recent podcasts that we've done is that to scale in architecture, because it's a service-driven industry, because there is this element of design that is so core to it, if you don't have really good people who love coming to work, it's very hard to scale the business. And I think for a lot of architects, and also it's the entrepreneurship side, you have to look at your business as a business. You are a business owner. For a lot of architects in India, I personally feel that if they're struggling to scale or grow beyond a certain size, it's probably because they're not investing and building a team. They're scared of letting go, mistakes will happen, right? But you have to
Absolutely.
learn from the mistake. You have to allow people to make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And second, you have to look at the business or your practice as a business,
Yeah.
right? Not as it's your personal
Yeah.
hobby
Yeah. Yeah.
that you're restricting it.
Mm.
I personally look at business as like a child that needs to be allowed to be flourish and groomed, and you have to do what is right for the business.
Absolutely.
Um, it's not easy telling a child, you can't have chocolate today. You have to take the hard step sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? The hard step might be for yourself.
Mm.
You might not be the right person to head the business.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that then?
Absolutely.
How do you step back? How do you allow somebody else to come in and take on a function
Mm.
and excel in that function, knowing very well that they're going to do a better job than what you are going to do?
Yeah.
And how do you learn from that?
No doubt.
So, yeah.
That's how it is.
What is your leadership mantra? How would you describe yourself as your leadership style?
No one has asked me that. My leadership is very people led. I think giving them the right powers. But yes, it's very. If somebody says something in my conference room that this is the date that they commit, I'm very commitment agnostic kind of a fellow. You commit to me that this is what you're going to do. I've given you the power. I do ask them like, what is it going to take for them to do that particular thing that I've asked them to do.
Right.
My job is to provide those resources and getting the result back. अब result देना उनका काम है, वो commitment agnostic मेरी टीम को होना पड़ता है.
My team tells me that I don't know if it's right or not. You don't like cold and stark minimalism.
I don't know. There are works that we are doing in that sector, but not much of them. Minimalism, I don't know. If I have, yes, I've not done like very stark minimalism yet. I've not got the chance. If I do get that, I'll love to try that anyways. Yeah. In industrial design, I have a liking towards minimalism. There is
Have you done industrial design projects?
We are doing, in fact, now we have a launch in next 10 days. There is a beautiful collection of tables that we are coming up with called the Saturn tables. From the planetary movements, they're using the look and feel of Saturn and the rings around it with a beautiful use of industrial grade surgical steel. I'm making some beautiful,
Very interesting.
terrific tables, and I'll send that to you. You'll love them. Terrific work.
Can we get photos of that?
You
show?
can. I'll
Yeah.
have that sent to you.
Yeah.
We are getting them made, and they're gonna be made to order, and they're gonna be like, and they're like passion. If you want to see my passion project, that's one of my passion projects.
What else are your other passion projects? Like the ones you're truly proud of?
This one is like I'm very proud of, क्योंकि very independent, wild बना रहे हैं. कुछ नहीं पता client ने लेना नहीं लेना है, कोई buy करे ना करे, but just we're making it for the sake of doing it. We're just doing it. Where you don't know ना कि ये खरीदना है नहीं खरीदना किसी ने, we're just doing it. I love that. That is passion work. Even in the lifestyle brand that I'm a part of, to design that product, what I can touch, I have a general affinity towards that, general love for that. Someday I want to make something in coffee also. I have love for that.
Coffee में
मतलब कुछ चीज़ें मुझे अट्रैक्ट करती हैं. लाइक आई हैड डिस्कस विद माई टीम कि अगर किसी दिन कुछ बहुत फ्री हो गए ना, वेले बैठ गए, तो लेट्स मेक प्रॉब्ली डू समथिंग इन कॉफ़ी. कुछ चीज़ें मुझे बहुत सही लगती हैं. आई वांट टू मेक, आई एम मोर अट्रैक्टेड टूवर्ड्स प्रोडक्ट्स एज अ प्रोजेक्शन. दैट इज आई एम वेरी 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 अट्रैक्टेड टू. Yeah. Now the silent table that I mentioned, my God, nobody has done that. So we are, of course, in Delhi, we're able to execute that. We have people who can do that. Yeah, those are hard pushes. कुछ leave कर जाए impactfully ना, तो that is better. और चीज़ों के लिए ठीक है.
If you were to give...
I'll ask you, am I allowed to ask a question?
Yeah, please go ahead. It's a conversation.
Okay. So how important is focus for you when you're working? Like, how much importance do you give to focus?
तो बिना फोकस का कर क्या सकते हैं?
How important it is. Like, Harkaran, ये मेरा पहला like this is the top one for me, like top two for me.
I can't do anything without focus. So for me, that's like...
Focus, what I felt it from your word, like, I can't do anything without focus. Focus इतना pesky है. I have talked with a couple of people. You know, there are people who say कि why are we even talking about other thing? वो तो point ही नहीं है ना करने का बात. इतना dead focus मैंने कई लोग में देखा है. Somebody I know back home, he can, एक बात छेड़ी है, he'll delve on that point. सुबह किया, रात के 4 बजे वो delve करेगा उसी point पे. And I have felt such fireball focus. My God.
Okay, now I got the context of where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of ways I'll answer this.
Yeah.
I personally feel, and it's a skill that I'm still working on developing even better,
Yeah.
is the skill to look at things from a macro level and when required deep right down to the ground to it. आप 30,000 फीट से सैटेलाइट का व्यू देख रहे हो और जब जरूरत पड़े ईगल की तरह डाइव इन किए, go all the way to the bottom, stay there till you don't get that result that's needed, and you have to have the ability to bounce straight back to 30,000 feet.
Yeah. The stay there वाला ना वो बहुत important. Stay there.
Stay there is very important.
कि वहीं पे टिके रहो, नहीं टिके रहो जब तक निकलता नहीं है.
Correct.
जिनमें वो होता है, like you guys are like big shots in the ply business and you guys have done really really good. In generic terms I'm talking about. In anything, life or in business, either way.
Thank you.
So I think that focus, if you also delve back to your success or your family's success in the trade, it will eventually be, focus will be one of the points where your forefathers or the ones
The years we've not done well, we know that the focus has
Yeah.
not been there.
where your forefathers or the enablers in your business might have rejected everything else in the pursuit of that one thing.
So for us at work now, we have couple of things that we're very clear on, that these are the 2 or 3 things that we want to achieve. Everything else is a distraction.
Nice.
Everything else. देखिए रोज कोई एक अपॉर्चुनिटी आएगी, रोज कुछ ना कुछ आएगा कि सर ये भी कर लेते हैं, ये भी एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है, वो भी एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है. We are a 1.5% market share player in the industry. What right do we have to switch to a different product line? Have we achieved 8%, 10%, 14% market share? No. So there is still so much scope to grow over here. Even in this growth, there are so many segments. There are the furniture manufacturers. Even in the furniture manufacturers, there are the ones who are doing the ultra luxury. They're the ones who are in the mid segment. The ones who are doing the low segment. Then there is the home buyer segment. In the home buyer segment, there is again the who are still getting, a large part of the industry still gets the furniture made on site. Usme there are the ultra HNIs, the upper middle class, the lower middle class. उसके बाद आप कमर्शियल प्रोजेक्ट्स में आइए, गवर्नमेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स में आइए, हॉस्पिटैलिटी प्रोजेक्ट्स में आइए. देयर आर 15 or 20 different avenues where plywood and allied products are used. Can I go after all 15 of them? Yes, I'll be a jack of all trades, but will not achieve mastery. And we've gone through that journey of having made that mistake. So we've narrowed down on 4 or 5 categories, right, which we would like to operate in, and to scale in those categories, to scale in those geographies. So
Love that.
it's a learning experience.
Super.
It's a learning experience. We've gone wrong in some calls we've made, but that's okay. If you can be honest in admitting that and I'm admitting on camera, like, right?
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Super. That is, I think, a skill.
I still need to get a lot better at it.
Everybody has to be, honestly. मतलब मुझे लगता है कि अगर मुझे कोई पूछेगा one thing बताओ यार, like one killer thing बताओ, recipe बताओ, focus. And if you get ऐसे कुछ बंदे मिल जाए ना काम करने के लिए आपको आपके साथ, मैं ऑन कैमरा बताता हूँ. I have 2 EAs. One in Amritsar, one here. The one I have here, he bullishly captures my vibe. मैंने बोला ये सर अभी करना है, खत्म करना है. That focus, energy. One in Amritsar also captures my vibe in a certain manner, another manner. आपका फोकस, आपके टीम का फोकस, आपका पैशन, उनका पैशन. अरे, you love your work days. Start loving your work days.
My entire core team,
Yeah.
in the last 12 months has changed by 180 degrees. Whoever was in my core team, except for one person, he's been there for a very long time, and he has transformed himself
Nice.
to align. And everyone that stood in my core team
Mhm.
12 months ago is no longer there, and it's a
You swapped the
completely new
team.
team. मैंने नहीं swap किया. We went through a transition in the business. We raised capital. We wanted to. We were in. We went through a very tough time through COVID. So and the business needed capital. So there was a different need of the business there. And now after capital got raised and got deployed from the promoter side, as well as we got external investors in, the business has to now go through a different phase.
Yeah.
What my role in the business completely changed, and as a result of that, my core team, for a large part on their own, decided that they no longer are the
Connect
right
with the
people. So
company.
wo I key this thing. So
Yeah.
everyone, of course, we added new members, and um, I'm very fortunate that people who have joined us recently are people that may I don't have to finish a sentence, and they catch
That is everything.
things.
That is everything.
Yeah.
वो सब कुछ है.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
very
that's
fortunate.
where the connection honestly stays.
Yeah.
फिर तो जो मर्जी कर सकते हो.
And another thing I've learned is that you're on a life journey. People are going to come in. If you're true to yourself and if you're really grounded and from a place of surrender, randomly somebody will show up in your life who will have a profound
Yeah.
profound impact. And when आपने उनके लाइफ में कुछ ऐड किया, उन्होंने आपके लाइफ में ऐड किया. इट्स नॉट कि वो सिर्फ मेरे लिए कर रहे हैं, मैं भी उनकी ज़िंदगी में कुछ कर रहा हूँ उनके लिए.
Absolutely.
And automatically at some point when you both don't serve each other anymore, you will find
Yeah.
ways
Examples.
quietly. फ्रेंड्स को देख लो ना, बचपन में एक ऐसा दोस्त हम सबका था जो उस समय हम कभी सोच ही नहीं सकते कि उसके बिना हम जी
Yeah.
सकते.
Yeah.
Today you might not even be talking to that person once in
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Right.
That's how it is.
And yeah,
You will find people if you are in that
Yeah.
energy of yours. You will find.
Yeah.
You attract people according to your energy also. And I
Yeah.
think that also does.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
very
that-
interesting journey.
that also does attract the right
Yeah.
kind of attitude. उस तरह के बंदे मिलेंगे, उस तरह की teams आएंगे आपके पास. That changes things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shali, thank
Done?
you so much. I think we're done with this conversation. Yeah. I think we can, otherwise it's just go too far down a particular path. Your top 3 lessons you would like to give young architects who are in college, wanting to come out and have a journey similar to yours.
Be ready to change massively, 360 degrees. Whatever you are doing in college, what you will end up doing in business will be different. Be ready to work together with others. Super important. More faster, intelligent people than you. And at the same time, be a risk taker, not for the sake of writing. A risk taker, actually a risk taker. In projects, in clients, in the way you work, where you work, with whom you work. Risk. Take it. You propel.
Very wonderful.
That's
put.
my 3 things.
Very wonderful put. And thank you so much for having this open-hearted conversation with us. I hope you really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation.
Absolutely, I did.
It's if you told me that at the starting of the podcast this is how we would be ending, I would have said no ways. But it's been a phenomenal conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Feelings are similarly shared.
Thank you.
Thank you.